All right, and we're going to get started. Okay. So, hello, my name is Lene Jabus. I'm the Central Regional Coordinator for the Transition Improvement Grant, also known as TIG. I would like to take this time to personally welcome you to TIG Tech Talk Tuesdays, a webinar series designed to inform and guide individuals on effective and efficient assistive technology being used throughout Wisconsin. Before we begin today's webinar that will focus on these three amazing apps, AudioNote, which is a dynamic note-taking app, VoiceDream Reader, which is considered the world's most accessible reading tool, and Pillboxie, an easy-to-use visual medication reminder app. I'd like to review a few housekeeping items with you. At the bottom of your screen, please locate and click on the Manage Participants icon. Locate your ID name, which is your login or email address, from the participants list. Once located, hover your mouse over it, click on the rename, and enter your first and last name. This is necessary for us to keep track of professional development hours, attendance, along with properly addressing individual questions throughout the webinar. If more than one participant is viewing from your screen, please send a chat message to Brian Kenny listing all viewers' first and last names. We will discuss how to use the chat feature in a moment. For sound quality and control purposes, the host will mute all mics. Mics will remain muted throughout the webinar. During the webinar, you have a choice to let other people see you or not. If you do not want to be seen, click on the video icon located at the bottom left corner on your screen. A red line will appear signifying that your video is now off. You can change the setting anytime throughout the webinar. Questions or comments can be submitted throughout the webinar. To submit questions or comments, please click on the chat icon located at the bottom of your screen. When the chat box appears, you can either send a message to all participants or privately by clicking on the individual's name. Please direct all webinar questions to Brian Kenny, as he will be managing the question and answer portion of this webinar. Today's webinar will be recorded and posted to the TIG website. As I mentioned earlier, the focus for today's webinar is on three amazing apps: AudioNote, VoiceDream Reader, and Pillboxie. And folks, we have the perfect person here today to show us how to use these powerful apps. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our guest speaker, Meghan Donahue. Meghan currently works as a rehabilitation engineer at Stout Vocal Rehabilitation Institute. She assists people with disabilities by providing assessments, assistive technology interventions, and education in the area of computer access, workplace accommodations, and cognitive learning supports, ergonomics, and electronic aids to daily living. She specializes in servicing people with spinal cord injuries, motor impairments, and learning impairments. Meghan is an active member of RESNA, which is the Rehabilitation, Engineering, and Assistive Technology Society of North America. Within this organization, she chairs the Engineers and Technologists Professional Specialty Group and serves as a member on the Education Committee. Meghan previously worked at the University of Michigan Health System as a clinical rehabilitation engineer. She received her master's in bioengineering with a focus in rehabilitation technology from the University of Illinois and a bachelor's in biomechanical engineering from Michigan Technological University. We are very excited to have Meghan with us today. With that said, I'm going to now stop sharing my screen and let Meghan take over.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to actually switch from me to what I'm looking at, which is my iPad. And before we get going, pardon?
Hang on here. I got to make sure that they have your screen is showing. There we go.
Before we get too far into it, I wanted to talk about a couple of my favorite tools for accessing the iPads, and they are just a couple different styli. This first stylus is called the Salt stylus, and it's a shallow angle light touch. And you'll see the head of this stylus is much bigger than most style I have. And this one also does not require your skin to touch the stylus in order for it to work. So it takes very low force to activate to use it, and the angle does not have to be particular or in a specific way in order for that stylus to work. Another one is this caduceus stylus, and it's a long piece of flexible metal that, again, your skin does not need to touch in order to use. I've attached it to head pointers, mouse sticks, and other things, and I can bend it into whatever shape that it needs to be in order for it to work and wrap around. So if somebody needs a special grip or a splint, we can actually kind of clamp it right onto their hand and use it as a loop or whatever shape it needs to be. It's really very useful because so many different people can use it. If we have time at the end, I can talk about switch access too, but I just wanted to show a couple of the favorite tools that I have for using the for accessing a tablet device. The first app I want to talk about is AudioNote, and that is basically a digital version of the LiveScribe Smart Pen. Now, if you have used the LiveScribe Smart Pen before, that is an audio recording ink pen that people use to take notes on special dot paper. And what it does is it records the audio of an entire lecture, provided you hit the record button. And then every time you write notes, it will actually link and bookmark them to the lecture so that you can tap on them to hear specifically what's being said. Now, back when I was in school, we used tape recorders, and we would have to fast forward and rewind, and fast forward and rewind, and fast forward and rewind, and we could never find what we wanted. And this takes that away because it automatically indexes. So this app is very similar. And now I tap record. I guess before I did that, I would actually launch the AudioNote app. We'll close it and then find it on my iPad. And I'm using the light version. The light version is free. It's great for demonstrations, but it only allows you to record about 10 minutes worth of time. After that, you need to invest, and the investment is a total of $4.99. This app is available for Android as well as for Apple products, and it can also be used on the computer and Windows devices also. And I need to move my Assistive Touch out of my way so that I can show you better what's going on. I have folders up here, and that has all my different notes. And I mostly use this for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and it gives me a new note. I can type in the title. So we'll do, we'll back off so you can see everything on here of what I'm doing. There's a keyboard down here at the bottom. And so I'm going to type in TIG Tech Talk Tuesday app track. And I could put in the location if I wanted, but I don't care. So I'm going to hit record. Now it is listening to everything that is being said, and it's actually recording it. I have 4 different options over here that I can use to type or insert my notes. I can type, and I place my cursor, and I can type my text here. And it's linking all of the text that I talk about. So if you're a keyboardist, you could hook up a Bluetooth keyboard to use. You can also use your styli if you wanted, or the touch screen keyboard. You could probably install swipe keyboard, and that would also work. And the trick is that you're only going to take your notes on the key points so that you don't have to spend your time typing. You're actually spending your time listening to what the instructor is saying when they give you the lecture. Now, in math class, typing is not particularly useful, and I'm actually going to want to be able to draw my notes. So I can put in a graph, I can do a bell curve, and if you had standard deviations, you would maybe have 1, 2, 3 around here, and you can talk about your percentiles. We could even do what the unit circle looks like and where pi would be on the unit circle. And so you can actually, oops, again, missed some of that. And so it gives us a lot of options and flexibility for how we can type. Now, some people don't like to draw, so we can put straight lines of what they need to be. We can put arrows in of key points so that to annotate our lectures fully. There's also a highlighting pen that I can use to highlight different things. And then the cool feature, something that the LiveScribe Smart Pen does not have, is I can actually insert a picture. So if I hit my camera button and I place my cursor somewhere, I can take a picture. And this won't be a particularly exciting picture unless I have something to take a picture of. So we're going to take a picture of the Caduceus stylus that I was talking about. And so I line it up. And this is very hard for you to see, but in a second it will zoom out. So I insert it, I like the photo, and I click to use photo. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back out so that you can actually see what I just did. And I'm going to drag it to be smaller and then place my photo here. And all this time, while I've been talking about it, this has all been recording all the rambling that I have done. Okay, so class is over, and I am going to review my notes. Or, say you're not in class, you just need help remembering things in a meeting. This is also useful for that. So we're going to hit pause, and now I am done with my note-taking mode. And I have recorded, it says 29 seconds of audio. I may have not deleted enough memory out of here for the free version. We'll see in just a second. So I switched to playback mode. And now I'm going to hit play. Can you guys hear that? Now if I type on different things here, it's going to jump around. And it will actually play back the audio of what was written at the moment that each thing was taken. The thing where I should have paid attention when I demonstrated this is that it's only the free version that I am demonstrating only had 10 minutes worth of memory, and all of my old notes in there have exceeded that 10 minutes. And so I can only show you the first 2 notes that I took, and everything else in the full version, or if I had more room on here, would have demonstrated all of that. But hopefully that kind of portrays the point and all the features that you can do with it. So what you can do is when you're studying, you look at the key points, and then you quiz yourself over what you learned. And if you have a question, you tap on the audio and you listen to the playback of what was said when that audio part was recorded. And so we can tap on this, it turns blue, and it'll play that back. The one weakness of this app compared to the LiveScribe Smart Pen is with the LiveScribe Smart Pen, you can listen to the audio and add in more notes and further link them into the recording. Whereas with this one, you cannot do that. You're either in record mode or playback mode. But on the positive side, you can insert pictures of things that you see in the board, and so some people work better with the pictures. Are there any questions on this app?
Brian.
Yeah, Linnea, there's no questions so far typed in the chat box. So does anybody have questions? That was great.
So we're going to move on, and I'm going to talk about VoiceDream Reader. This is a text-to-speech app that we use. I, again, am using the free version because that's sufficient for demonstration purposes. So if I zoom out all the way, you can kind of see, you can load in. The cool thing, let's start with text-to-speech is a feature that allows things to be read out loud to you. A lot of the tablets have a built-in text-to-speech component where it'll speak a selection, and that's built into the Apple one, and you just select some text and hit speak. One thing that we find with the weakness of that, and with a lot of different apps, is that they will only read certain formats. So if you buy a Kindle book, it has a Kindle format. If you have a Nook book, it has a special format for the Nook. And then you get your textbooks from the school. And those are in either PDF or Word, or sometimes they're in Keezy or the Kurzweil format. And Bookshare has its own format. And so things aren't compatible across readers. VoiceDream Reader is compatible with nearly every format that's out there. Additionally, we can have a lot of control over what the book looks like to help us increase our focus and our ability to pay attention. So here, I can change the font, and I can show whether it's going to highlight the spoken word or the line. I can change my text size and my actual font. So maybe we want to use this open dyslexic font and increase the size up a little bit so it's easier to see. I can change my character spacing. Some people see better when there's more space between the words and between the lines. And then I can also change my colors. So right now I have a light theme, but I could do the high contrast, which is easier for some people to see. I'm going to leave it for that because that shows up really nicely for on the camera right now. And then I get to choose my word colors. That's kind of handy. The original layout of the book, if we can get back up there, is not going to let me show. Okay. Additionally, I can change my voice. Try it. There we go. Just need to give the camera time to focus. And I can change the speaking rate. So most people listen at about, or talk at 160 to 165 words a minute. And then I have 4 voices loaded in here. You can buy additional voices. They're about $1.99, and you can try the free version of them if you want to add them into that. That's usually the most common in-app purchase. And there's a dictionary, so you can actually teach it how to pronounce words. Now, just to give you a quick view of how it reads, is I tap, and I'm going to hit play. Now, with the free version, I have to hit play every 30 seconds, whereas the paid-for version, which is either $9.99 or $10.99, it'll continue reading longer.
Visit, but you forget. Mama, said Elizabeth, that we shall meet him at the assemblies, and that Mrs. Long promised to introduce him.
Should probably have found where I was actually going to read it now that I changed all my settings. Sorry about that. 1 second.
No, you do, and it is that which makes the wonder, with your good sense, to be so honestly blind to the follies and nonsense of others. Affectation of candor is common enough. One meets with it everywhere.
And we'll hit play again.
Everywhere, but to be candid without ostentation or design, to take the good of everybody's character and make it still better, and say nothing of the bad, belongs to you alone. And so you like this man's sisters, too, do you?
This is Pride and Prejudice, by the way, that we are listening to. And so one feature that I want to bring out to you is that we have it highlighted where it's just highlighting the whole line to help with tracking, and then the actual word that's being spoken. Some people need that adjusted in order for them to focus better. And so if I come up here to my controls, there we go, and I type on the text, down here, I can choose what colors it's going to do, and I can set up a screen masking sort of item. And so, sorry, move my camera down so you can see what I'm adjusting. If I change my background color to black, so we'll do this for better contrast. There we go. Back. Okay, so now I have changed my background color to black, and the only thing that you can see is that one line of what's being read. Try to reduce the glare here just a little bit.
Their manners are not equal to his, certainly not, at first, but they are very pleasing women when you converse with them. Miss Bingley is to live with her brother, and keep this house, and I am much mistaken if we shall not find a very charming neighbor in her.
I think it's hard for the, I'm sorry, it's hard for the camera to focus that quick, but wow, what a neat option.
Yeah, so the gist of it is basically it looks like it's hard with the reflections in the camera because I have it so dark, but basically what it has is the whole screen is blank except for that one line of text, which some people need in order for them to be able to focus better. And so that's just one option that we can show, and we have a lot of different things that we can set within it. So this is the gist of VoiceDream. Now we do have the ability to upload our documents, and actually this is very compatible with Dropbox. And so you save your items into Dropbox, which is a cloud storage program, and then you can bring them right into VoiceDream to listen to and follow along. Are there any questions with this app?
You had said that this is pretty compatible across platforms. Can you speak into that just a little bit more?
So, Kindle has an app. So you can buy books from Amazon Kindle and load them up into your Kindle app. However, if you use Google Play Books or Nook, you can't open those books in the Nook or Google Play apps because of compatibility issues. This app will read books from Google Play, will read books from Kindle with a simple importation process.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions? You can also highlight text to save it and make notes if you do that while you're reading, which is it's this bookmarking function right up here. And so, or it's a way to flag things. I'm sorry, the highlighting, you have different ways of doing that. And so you have a few different options to help you take notes while you're reading. Okay, so our next app to show you is Pillboxie. You have to switch iPads here. This is a medical reminding app. I work with a lot of people who don't remember when to take their medicine. They get distracted. And of course, their medicine's what helps them be able to function better throughout the day. So this one's kind of cool because it's got a very visual interface that is very simple. And all I have to do, so I have a profile and I have that you have to take your vitamin every day, and we have a new med, but I didn't finish entering it in there. So I'll go through and show you how you add in a medicine. Is you hit new med, and we can give it a title. So I think that my new medicine should be hot chocolate tonight. Chocolate's a great medicine. And that I can then change the appearance. So that's probably a bad example for this. But you have, and it changes the capsule based on what you have selected. So I could have a capsule. I can have a triangular shaped pill. I can go through and there are powders. There are syringes. You also can do drops. I can take a photo of it exactly. And I can also put in liquid. What color is it? White, pink, red, orange, yellow, green. Blue, we'll do a brown liquid for hot cocoa. And I have changed what it looks like, and then it shows up in my medicine cabinet over here on the right with the different appearance. Now I need to say how often it needs to be taken. should it be taken what time of the day, and I can mark it. So we could have it at noon. We can also have to take it at 4 o'clock. And there we go. And if we wanted to take it with dinner, you could put it there too. You can change how much you take. So do we take a cup or a tablespoon, milliliters? There's lots of different quantities that you choose from. So you can put it in as, you can change it based on what the prescription indicates. I'm going to try to get 4 tablespoons. That's a quarter of a cup. And then you can change how often it needs to repeat. Daily, every 3 days. Is it a weekly, monthly, something you're not currently taking? Okay, so now we set up the schedule of when we take it. Now what'll happen is it's going to remind me that I need to take the pill or take my hot chocolate at 4 o'clock this afternoon. If I don't take my hot chocolate at 4 o'clock this afternoon, 2 minutes later it's going to nag me and remind me again to take my hot chocolate. 2 minutes after that, it's going to nag me again. And it will continue until I actually say I took the medicine. So here I can say I took it, I missed it, or I skipped it. I actually keep track of how I felt, and I can say whether it'll keep track of the actual time that you took it. And then I can also put in if I didn't take it or if I took a double dose, I can actually modify that right there. This is handy because afterwards I can come down to this patient list or my information, and I can share my medical history. I don't have email set up on this tablet, but I could have it email all of my medical history. This app's called Pillboxie. It's 99 cents. It's an Apple app. So there are several different medical management apps that are out there, but this one has a very nice, clean, graphical user interface that a lot of people appreciate, especially if they don't know the names of their medicine. They can choose them and look at them based on what they look like. Are there any questions about this app?
Lenny, there's 2 questions that came in.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the app called again? And then there's a never mind, just got it. So disregard. There's no question.
Okay.
And is there a default name? Is there a default name for the app in case they're searching and they can't find it? Would it be called something else possibly? Or is it always Pillboxie?
The name of the app is Pillboxie. If they can't find it, then I would check to make sure they're looking at an Apple device, because I'm pretty sure this one's not available on other platforms.
I will also have this recording and the PowerPoint presentation will be listed on our website, so you can go back and find the direct links to these different apps.
Okay, so a couple other bonus apps that I had in here that I wanted to talk about. One of them is called Home Routines. And this one, I think the price just went down to $4.99. It's another Apple-only one, and I have not found something I like just as much on Android devices yet. We do have Android devices here at SVRI, and we use them when somebody is an Android user. But this one, it's really, its strength is an Apple, and there isn't a comparable one yet for Android. This is designed and created as a way of keeping your house clean and managing all of the house chores. However, we can expand this to anything where you have recurrent routines. So it is designed so that you would typically break your house into different zones, and you do a different zone each day of the week. And so you have to clean the entryway and the stairs on Monday, the kitchen and the dining room on Tuesday, you have your bathroom and laundry room on Wednesday, you do your bedroom on Thursdays, and if you do your living room on Fridays, then theoretically your house is always clean, right? Not at mine, but anyways, we can edit the zones and change what goes in them. And then the thing is that is the big task. When you say, or you're told, go clean the bathroom, you have to then remember every part of cleaning the bathroom. And so a lot of people don't remember that they need to clean the corner cobwebs or to clean the baseboards. That's not part of cleaning the bathroom to everybody, but it is to some people. Cleaning the floor, scrub the bench and the sink. You need to reorganize the cupboards, wash the trash can, clean the shower tray and the shower doors. That's part of cleaning the shower. But it breaks it down into all these little subtasks that you need to do so that it's a little bit more manageable and less overwhelming of a chore. And as you do them, you mark them and you get stars. Once you do all of the parts of it, the task is considered done. And you can go back through and it says that you have completed that chore. Now I can look at my morning, evening, and weekly routine. I also have the to-do list of what else needs to be done, and these are non-recurring tasks. And the things that you accomplished. It doesn't say you did zone 2 today. It says I cleaned all of those things today to make you feel a little bit better about what you've accomplished, especially when tasks have different weights of what's involved in them. Then I can set this up, and it shows it down here, is every day it resets the stars, or every week, or every month, and how often it needs to show. And then it reminds me every morning at 8:30, I get a reminder that I have a home routine due that I need to take care of. And so the strengths of this app are that it allows you to break a big task into a lot of manageable subtasks, and then it's a automatically recurring to-do list for chores that you're frequently doing yourself. And then you get to check off a lot of items, and we manage the zones differently based on what somebody's doing. Because this was designed for cleaning, I leave a lot of the default stuff in here, but I've worked with somebody who was working at a vet's office, and they needed to have a checklist for cleaning the cages. They needed a checklist for cleaning the grooming room. They needed a checklist for every time they clean an exam room after each dog went in, kind of thing. And so we were able to set up different checklists for all of that. We also have set it up for other types of things that aren't related to cleaning, just the routine when you're, suppose you're an office assistant. You have to come in, the first thing that you do is you check the voicemails. And so your morning focus are these 3 things you need to accomplish in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you need to sort the mail and deliver the mail. And so that would be an item on the afternoon list, sort of items. Are there any questions about this app? Okay. I guess we should give Brian a second to catch up because I know there's a lag.
Yeah, that's a great app for.
No, there's
Sorry, Brian, I interrupted.
no questions.
Okay.
That's okay.
And so the last app that I wanted to talk about today is called Habit RPG. This is Apple, Android, computer, and Windows. And it's a website, not just an app. So you can set this up on the website. It works with your social networking sites if you use them, but you don't have to. And it's a game to help you establish habits that you're trying to do. So my character always dies because I only use this for demonstration purposes. But we can set up you first set up your profile, and you get a little avatar with light, and you get to change what it looks like, and there's hair colors and hairstyles and all sorts of stuff. And then the more you do your habits and increase your life, the things you can unlock things to be able to change your avatar's look. you also earn points and potions and things like that. So it's like playing a computer game, but it's based on the things that you do. So then we can set up different habits. And you have habits that you have, oops, sorry, it's all down here at the bottom. Give it a chance to zoom. Okay, so we have habits, daily items, to-do lists, and then the rewards. Habits are things that every time you do it, you get extra life, and if you don't do it or go against it, then you lose life. So if we took the trying to be healthier as an example, every time you eat something that's good for you, you get to hit the plus button. And every time you eat a bag of chips, you have to hit the minus button and you lose life. If you're productive that day, or say you took the stairs, you would again add and subtract when you take the elevator. So then if you were actually productive around the house and got a lot done, you can hit plus, and that's a habit. So there's nothing that you lose life for being less productive, but by being productive, you get to add to your life, and each time you do something productive for an hour, you get extra coins. But every time you eat junk food, you lose. This is very motivating to a lot of people, and so it's a tool to know about. Now, the dailies are things that you need to do every day. So I have a list for examples of doing the dishes, working on the personal project, taking the medicine, cleaning the apartment, reading, and exercise. And then you could also set this up so that there are subtasks within them. So if you had to, hang on. We'll make a new one. Uh-oh, I locked it up. Okay, come on. Okay, so under my dailies, I can add a new one, and when you add it, put away snow clothes. Now underneath that, I can add in, there's a details button. I haven't done this on the app. I usually do it on the computer. I'm not exhibiting much help or much patience. Here we go. You can change the difficulty of it down here. So if that's something that you just never remember to do, maybe you would make it a medium difficulty, and then you get more life. And really, you only go outside and play, so 3-4 days a week. So you only have it recur on Monday through Thursday. And then I can add this checklist. And so we're going to do one for boots. And we can add a new item for coat. And we can add a new item for hat and gloves. So now we can go back to the dailies, and it shows that here, but when I tap on it, I have to check off that I did my boots and my coat, but I didn't take care of the hats and the glove. So I at least got some points for it, but not as many as if I had done the whole task. And then the to-do items are items that don't have a deadline. And the longer they sit in there in the to-do list, the more points you get for them. So they actually turn red, and then by checking them off, you get a little bit more life. And there's a law of diminishing returns. You know, if you leave it in there for 1 week, it'll turn red, but if you leave it in there for 2 months, you actually don't get extra lives for leaving it in there that long. So it's a motivation to check off items from your to-do list right away. And then you have your rewards that you've earned by, and you set what those rewards are. So, ooh, I get to watch an episode of my favorite TV show or something. This is something someone else had programmed in here. But you can put in, I get to watch something that I really enjoy, or I get to eat a piece of cake every time I earn 20 gold coins. And so those are rewards that you get to unlock. So you still got to follow it. There's nothing that's going to take away. Like, I can give you all the tools you want, but if you don't use them, they're not going to do you any good. And this is one that falls in the category. But to some people, this is much more motivating than just having a standard to-do list app. Are there any questions about it? There's another app called Task Hammer, and that is an Android app. And that one acts very similarly to this. I generally demonstrate this one because it works on all the platforms. Okay, so that's all the apps that I have prepared to talk about today. If you want, Lene, I can talk about like the Tecla Shield as a switch access tool, or the Perero. I have websites loaded with those, or we can talk about other apps that are randomly in here that might be useful, or if anybody had a category that they had a quick question about.
I will leave that up to you. We most certainly can. I just want to reiterate real quick before we switch. So it was home routines, habits, and task hammer, because I'll add those to the resource list then.
Habits is actually Habits RPG. Habits role-playing game is what it stands for. And that's all one word.
Wonderful.
And I believe it's Habit RPG. Yep.
Okay.
HABIT RPG.
I can see students buying into that big time. Have you had good success?
I have had some people very enthused about it, and unfortunately, the way our model works, we don't get to do very much of a follow along. We set it up, and a couple weeks later, they tell us if it's working.
Okay.
So I don't have any long-term outcome measurements at this time.
Okay. Brian, do we have any questions?
No questions came in at all, Lene.
Okay, real good.
Okay. We'll talk about my other two access items first. So I'm going to share my screen. Close that. Share screen, my desktop. Share screen only. Bring this guy up.
Okay.
So the first one is the Perero. And this is this little device. Can you see my mouse when I show you this?
I got to make sure that I am not sharing my screen here. Brian, which screen do you see? Are you seeing? I'm frozen up.
I can see, Lene, I can see a drop-down menu with the word search, and it looks like a
Okay, great.
iPad
Fabulous.
that's plugged into a cord.
Then we are seeing, okay, great. I just wanted to make sure, Megan, that we were seeing your screen.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
The Perero, and this little device that my mouse is circling here, it's the white box that says Perero. That is a probably 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch little piece that plugs into the iPad, and then there is a spot for charging on the bottom, and then a spot for an accessibility switch to be plugged in, as is demonstrated down here. You can actually put a Y splitter onto here and plug in 2 switches. It's an Apple-only system, and it will allow the user to use scanning within the iPad. Now, the newest operating systems, iOS 7 and iOS 8, have scanning built into it, and it will highlight like this whole row at a time, and when you get to the row you want, you hit the button, and then it will go through each item within the row, and you hit the button, and then it goes through all the options like select, home, go back, swipe left, swipe right, pinch out, pinch in. And so it gives you all of the gestures and motions. And when you hear the one you want, you hit the button again and it will select them. The cool thing is that I can plug this into anybody's iPad or iPhone, and I can use my switch to control it. I don't have to install an app to use it. The app only allows me to change the settings, which is like the speed of how fast it scans through different items. And we have one of these here. We also have the Pereiro 2 has been out since then, and that one works with the lightning cable. Ours, we have to use a converter, and it works just fine. So that's option one for switch access, and it just gives a little bit of control. It's with a small amount of hardware. It's a couple $100. Last time I looked, I think it was close to $300, but I don't know what the price is today. It's made by some company, or by RSL Steeper, and they are out of the UK, but you can buy it from like InfoGrip or EnableMart. This other option is the Techless Shield. There's other things out there. These are just my two favorites. And the Techless Shield is this Bluetooth device, and it's a box. It's probably 4 by 4 by 2 inches. And it's something that you can wirelessly communicate with your iPod or your Apple device or your Android device. Right now it does not work with Apple. Or sorry, let's say that again. Right now it does not work with Windows devices. And you can plug 2 switches in here, or on this little 9-pin, you can actually plug in the wheelchair controllers and use your wheelchair joystick or a head array or the sip and puff and chin joystick of a wheelchair advanced controls. That's through a special ECU box that goes in the back of, and it may need to be added on. So this guy is using a sip and puff switch in the picture, and he's using that to scan through and navigate. The cool thing with this one, and then you can plug in 2 switches here, or you can put in 2 Y splitters and actually have 4 switches going in. It's the switch scan within the Apple, or you put the Android app on the device and you can go up, down, back, forward, select, and you can set what the switches do that way. The light coming out of this box is purple, and that's indicating that it's using an Apple device. And I can hold a little pen or paper clip against the small little teeny button on this side, and that will flip through the lights, and when it gets to green, I can switch to Android mode. So it's one device, and you can switch back and forth between the different devices, but it's not quick and easy switching. So it's something that you would set it up for your Apple device or your Android device, but you wouldn't switch it back and forth every day. You'd switch it when you bought a new device and switch to that when you switched your brand. And then it provides you scanning access through all of the tablets. Now, another thing you can do with Android is you can plug in your mouse directly into the tablet and have mouse control to do your clicking on and click on the keyboard. You can't change that cursor size, like the size of the arrow, without an external app, but still, if you have good control of the mouse and you can't hold a stylus or be comfortable with the stylus, that would be another option. So those are just 2 more devices that I wanted to touch on. This one is $295. Now I'll stop sharing.
All right. Thank you so much. Wow, you are just a complete wealth of knowledge. We will, let me here. So again, we will have these resources. Obviously, I have to update this now with the additional ones that you added, Megan, and I very much appreciate it. It's wonderful. Those are wonderful programs and apps that are available out there for people to use to increase, obviously, independence. So I will go ahead and update this and make sure that we have it on our website. In addition, we also are on Google+, so please visit us there. TIG Tech Talk Tuesdays is a page, and we do advertise our events on there as well. So I would like to thank everyone for participating today in today's webinar. And just as a quick reminder, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we will not be back until the second week in January, which will be Tuesday, January 6th. We will be back with showcasing 2 apps, task lists and video modeling apps, which again, actually one of your coworkers is going to be hosting that. So we'll be looking forward to hearing about those communication boards and voice output devices throughout the AT evaluation process. So looking forward to that on Tuesday, January 6th. So again, I would like to thank everyone for participating today, and a special thank you to Megan for taking the time. We really appreciate it, Megan.
No problem.
All right, take care. Fabulous job, dear. Oh my gosh.